I'd like to add something in defense of UNBS. To be fair, uh, as an entity, they have to deal with maybe thousands of standards. Some are East African, some are international, some are local. So they have a set of standards. The problem is these standards, I don't know if they have time, manpower to uh, modernize them, let's call them, or make them applicable to the current situation. In our case, as avocado oil processors, we have two items that we need to license, if you want to call it. We have the crude avocado oil and the extra virgin avocado oil. When we started 2 years ago, we went through the process of getting our products licensed through UNBS. And it's a very lengthy process. It includes an audit of the factory, of the facilities, of everything. It's a very thorough process. And we passed all that. When we reached the point where they need a sample of the oil to test it against the standards they have to give us the certification, we simply failed. Because the standard that is in place for avocado oil for cosmetics, which is the East African standard, which is built on another international standard, this standard talks about an obsolete processing system, which is chemical extraction, where they dry the paste and they add chemicals to it like hexane, and they extract the oil. This process produces a very low acidity oil. It's not safe for human consumption, but it has a very low acidity. So now we are supposed to produce a very low acidity. Mind you, the acidity of crude avocado oil, as per the standard, is much lower than the acidity of the edible oil, which doesn't make sense. The standard requires us to produce oil for cosmetics that has much lower value of acidity, but because it was built on a different process that is already obsolete and no one is using it. So that standard has to be fixed. But the thing is, internationally, there is no standard. Codex has been there for years, and they're trying to create standards to fight adulteration internationally of oils, vegetable oils. But Uganda, as far as I know, hasn't been very active. And the main issue now, if UNBS says that they are active, okay, if you are active, why didn't you ask us for samples to include our parameters in the codex? Because this is what everyone else in the world is doing. Ugandan oil has specific characteristics that, if not defended by the Ugandan government, we will be out of the business, because countries use codex to fight each other. Now, Mexico suggested a 5,000 upper limit of sterols in the oil, while our oil here in Uganda gets 7,000 and 7,500 sterol levels. So if that standard is adopted in Codex, no Ugandan manufacturer can ever export 1 liter of oil. At the same time, talking about UNBS, we are being punished because there is no standard. Like, we imported flexi tanks, which are the things that we use to export oil. And now we've been stuck with UNBS for 2 weeks now, maybe, because they're saying we cannot give you an exemption to get these flexi tanks in before you get your UNBS certification, which I cannot do. So I'm stuck now. So for UNBS, there has to be an immediate action on defending us on the codex level and asking us for samples to know what are the characteristics of our oil. And we can give you plenty of samples. You have 5 factories that produce all the time, and you can take samples and test them. On top of that, there has to be a higher up decision that says, yeah, we know that these standards do not apply at the moment to the current industry, and we have to do some concessions for these factories. Thank you.